Yes, my friends, time is passing and the Baltimore Ravens are looking for the best decisions to strengthen and change their team. After all, I still have a bitter taste in my mouth from not having gone to the Super Bowl, but I believe that this year we will. If you agree that the Ravens will go to Super Bowl 60, hit the like button hard. Taking advantage of the opportunity, I want to ask you a question. Do you think Mark Andrews should be released? Or in your opinion, does he deserve to stay? Comment below. In the last few hours, a news story went viral on the web. The San Francisco 49ers have officially given Deebo Samuel and his agent the green light to seek a trade, and the Baltimore Ravens have been named as a possible landing spot. This revelation came from NFL insider Adam Schefter during his appearance on the Pat McAfee show, where he specifically mentioned the Ravens as a team that could benefit from Deebo's unique skill set. But the big question is, should the Ravens make a move for him? Deebo Samuel is one of the most versatile offensive weapons in the NFL. Lined up as both a wide receiver and a running back, he's a perfect fit for teams that thrive on creative offensive schemes. Baltimore, with its dynamic, run-heavy offense, seems like an ideal fit. Imagine adding Deebo's explosive playmaking to a lineup that already features Derrick Henry, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, and Zay Flowers. Sounds like a dream scenario, right? The Ravens' offense is already one of the most diverse in the league, and Deebo could take it to the next level. One of Deebo's biggest strengths is his ability to generate yards after the catch. He's not just a receiver, he's a playmaker who thrives in open space. Baltimore could use him in a variety of ways: jet sweeps, screens, short routes that allow him to break tackles, and even lining up in the backfield. The Ravens have experimented with these kinds of plays using Zay Flowers, but adding Deebo to the mix would create an entirely new level of unpredictability for opposing defenses. However, there are some major concerns when it comes to pursuing Deebo. The first is his injury history. While there's no questioning his talent and physicality, injuries have been a recurring issue for him throughout his career. The Ravens have had their fair share of injury woes in recent years, and adding a player with durability concerns could be a risky move. Last season, there were also reports that Deebo struggled with his weight, which raised further questions about his ability to stay in peak condition. Then there's the financial aspect. Deebo is still on a high-priced contract, and even though the Ravens could rework the deal to make it more manageable, they'd still be committing significant cap space to a player who carries some risk. The team already has several high-value contracts, and with upcoming extensions for key players, adding Deebo's salary to the books might not be the most strategic move. Another factor to consider is whether the Ravens even need to make this move. The team already has a strong core of offensive weapons. Zay Flowers has shown flashes of brilliance, Rashad Bateman has the potential to develop into a reliable target, and the tight end duo of Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely provide the security blanket for Lamar Jackson. On top of that, Baltimore now has Derrick Henry, a game-changing running back who will command defensive attention. Would Deebo be a luxury rather than a necessity? The best-case scenario for Baltimore would be if Deebo were outright released by the 49ers, allowing the Ravens to negotiate a contract on their terms without giving up valuable draft capital. But as of now, the expectation is that San Francisco will try to trade him rather than let him go for nothing. That means any team interested, including Baltimore, would have to give up assets to get him. When it comes down to it, Deebo Samuel would undoubtedly be a great fit for the Ravens offense. His ability to play multiple positions and generate big plays would give Lamar Jackson another weapon to work with. However, the price tag, both in terms of draft capital and salary, combined with his injury history, makes this a risky move. If Baltimore were to acquire him, it would have to be at the right price, and given the team's current priorities, that seems unlikely. But what do you think, Ravens fans? Should the team take the gamble and bring in Deebo Samuel, or is the risk too high? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Another critical element in this discussion is how Deebo Samuel would fit into Todd Monken's offensive scheme. Monken, known for his ability to maximize playmakers, could certainly find creative ways to utilize Deebo's skill set. But would the Ravens be willing to change their offensive identity to accommodate another high-usage player? Baltimore has traditionally been a run-heavy team, but Monken introduced a more balanced attack last season. With Derrick Henry now in the mix, the offense is likely to lean on the run even more. So where does Deebo fit into that equation? One possible scenario is using Deebo in a hybrid role, similar to how San Francisco has deployed him. He wouldn't necessarily need to be a traditional wide receiver in Baltimore. Instead, he could operate as a gadget player, lining up in the backfield on some plays, taking direct handoffs, running quick screens, and stretching defenses horizontally. The Ravens already tried some of these concepts with Zay Flowers, but Deebo's bigger frame and physicality would add a different dimension. However, as exciting as that sounds, it's important to look at how the Ravens allocate their resources. Would it make sense to pay a premium for a player whose role could overlap with existing talent? Zay Flowers has already shown he can be effective in the slot and on design plays near the line of scrimmage. Isaiah Likely is a versatile tight end who can line up outside or in the slot. And let's not forget about Rashad Bateman, a player the Ravens still hope will develop into a reliable receiving threat. Adding Deebo might create redundancy rather than solving a clear need. That brings us to the larger discussion about roster construction. If the Ravens were to trade for Deebo, they'd likely have to part ways with valuable draft capital. Baltimore currently has several pressing needs, particularly along the offensive line and at edge rusher. The departure of veteran linemen and uncertainty surrounding Ronnie Stanley means the team must invest in protecting Lamar Jackson. Meanwhile, the pass rush remains a concern. While the defense was dominant last year, injuries exposed the lack of depth in key positions. Would it be wise to sacrifice draft picks for Deebo when those resources could be used to bolster more urgent areas? Another concern is the long-term financial outlook. Deebo Samuel is under contract through the 2025 season, and his deal carries a hefty cap hit. The Ravens have several key players due for extensions, including Justin Matabike, who emerged as a dominant force on the defensive line. Would Baltimore be willing to commit significant money to Deebo when they have other priorities? Then there's the question of Baltimore's historical approach to wide receivers. The Ravens have been hesitant to make splash moves at the position, preferring to develop talent rather than overpaying for big-name acquisitions. Even when they have made moves, like signing Odell Beckham Jr. last season, it was on a short-term, relatively low-risk deal. Trading for Deebo would be a major departure from that philosophy. Deebo Samuel is undeniably a game-changing player, but for the Ravens, this move feels more like a luxury than a necessity. Baltimore has already bolstered its offense with key acquisitions, including Derrick Henry, and the team still has plenty of weapons in Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews, and Isaiah Likely. The offense is diverse and explosive, meaning the priority should be addressing more urgent needs, like reinforcing the offensive line and adding depth to the pass rush. Financially, the Ravens must be strategic. Deebo's contract is significant, and Baltimore has key players, like Justin Matabike, who need extensions. Investing in a player with a history of injuries could backfire, especially when considering how physical the AFC North is. If Deebo were to become available at a discount or even be released, Baltimore should absolutely explore the opportunity. But trading valuable assets for him right now? That's a tough sell. Ravens fans, what do you think? Would Deebo elevate this offense, or should the team focus on other areas? Let's discuss in the comments. The Baltimore Ravens are ready to come back stronger next season with one clear goal: reaching the Super Bowl. The team continues to adjust its roster and strengthen key areas to give even more support to Lamar Jackson, who remains the leader of this explosive offense. With the help of Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, and Isaiah Likely, expectations are high for a more dynamic and dominant team. However, to achieve ultimate glory, Baltimore must strengthen its offensive line and ensure more consistency on defense. Fans believe this could be the year of redemption. Will the Ravens finally capture the long-awaited title?